Indiana Jones, Indiana It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we're kicked in the face repeatedly by the film Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
Not yet. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerald Christopher. I was the best man at all your weddings, Porter.
And by all our weddings, he of course means my wedding and Pete's wedding and the wedding of our guest this week, Joe Spaley, our old pal. Hello, Joe.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
It's going all right.
You know what? It's
Awesome.
going a lot worse than it was like 8 seconds ago. I feel a lot less special all of a sudden.
Oh, really? Yeah.
How many weddings has Jerry been a best man at?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
It's actually creepy, isn't it? It's like we all made out with each other.
Really?
Yeah, but that's the whole. But that was the the what do they call the bachelor night?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
bachelor,
What happens
yeah.
on Bachelor Night, et cetera, et cetera.
Bachelor
Stays-
party? Yeah.
The bachelor party. That's what it is. Yeah.
Bachelor
That
night
could be
sounds like
the plot for a movie is the guy who's always setting up the bachelor night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he starts to resent it. He's like, why does everybody love me so much? I got to be their best man. I got to do this again?
And then
sucks.
he can't find love. And
You're right. Yeah.
Joe,
finally
you're
he-
yeah.
At the end
By
of the
the-
movie, he falls in love with like the stripper at the club
Yeah,
who
that's what
keeps
I was
arranging the
thinking.
thing. Yeah. You understand me.
That Joe,
the
your
only one.
bachelor party was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. Remember that? Yeah. Good, well, come on. What are you thinking? Good luck having a bachelor party in Washtenaw, Michigan.
what are you talking about? It was the setup, right?
Come on, everybody. Let's go to 7-Eleven.
Michigan, we all hang out at Burger King parking lot.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a party.
Right.
All right. Well, it's not a party here. Well, actually, it is a party here because we're talking about minute 75 of Crystal Skull right now. And this is the one that begins with Indy and Mutt kicking Devchenko 6 ways to Sunday until he's all knocked out. And then it ends with Indy exiting the truck through the roof as Marion beams at him.
That was a nice 6 way to Sunday. I think I've only heard it 5 ways to Sunday. I like 6 ways to Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if there was a limit to how many ways
yeah.
to Sunday you could do something. I don't know.
Maybe it is always 6 ways to Sunday. Maybe I'm having another.
I mean, is it like the days? Like the
I don't
7
know.
days and then
Oh,
six,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
6 ways to... But then ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I always thought of 6 ways to Sunday because there's like an alliteration there. Like 5 ways to Sunday, you'd be like, why'd you
Oh.
pick that?
5 ways to Friday, maybe.
Exactly.
3 ways to Thursday. Okay.
I had not thought about it enough, I guess.
I haven't thought about it at all. I just said 6 ways to Sunday. I thought it was going to be a whole thing.
Well, okay, so we see this father-son tag team moment here. I'm trying to think. Do we see an explicit version of that in The Last Crusade? Is there like one is as sort of pointed as this?
Not real. Like, I think, doesn't like Henry Sr. like smash somebody with a vase and... Yeah. He does. But like, that's not like with Indy necessarily. It's not like Indy was beating up the guy too or something. I don't know. It's a little different.
No, he
think-
smashes. Doesn't he? He smashes Indy with a vase.
Yeah.
All day. Yeah.
When he
God.
comes in the door and goes to
We've
like
been doing this
break
a
his
long
dad.
time.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's a little bit like them being tied to the chair, and he gives him the lighter, and then he drops the lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not violence against people.
No,
It's
that's
not like,
true.
I don't know if they've ever beaten each other or beaten up somebody together.
I'm
God, I feel really stupid for messing up that vase thing. I apologize, everybody. Of course he hits Indy in the head with a vase. Such a rookie. God,
So embarrassed right now, Tom.
you should be. I apologize, everybody. I'm bringing the show down.
Right, two ways to Sunday.
Yeah, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Well, so we're thinking about this. How different Indy and his son are from Indy and his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I was thinking about in this minute. You're like, okay, so Mutt and Indy are alike. And, obviously he and Henry Sr. were not alike at all. I mean, they had some overlap that was charming and cute, but I'm wondering, so
See, I think they're both like they're both different sides of Indy's personality.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like he could have bonded if his dad was less of a cold, weird dude, he could have bonded with him over, Etruscan vases and things and
Yeah.
archaeology and history and stuff.
Whereas Mutt's got the outdoorsy stuff, but he's like, I ain't going to school.
Yeah. School
Well,
sucks.
what's interesting, and that's a good point there, Pete. But what's interesting, I mean, I'm so Mutt wasn't raised by Indy. So if he
Yeah.
had been raised by Indy, then would he be reactionary and would he be more like Henry Jones Sr.?
Mm.
Bookish and sort
If
of,
he was raised by Indy,
yeah, if Mutt had been raised by Indy,
right?
then would Mutt be sort of the opposite of Indy? Because Indy
he'd
was
rebel
raised by
by-
yeah, he
Right.
would rebel.
Yeah.
Indy was raised by his dad, and his dad's sort of Henry Sr.'s nothing like Indy.
Right. So he'd be all book smart and wear the
Yeah, it
preppy,
Yeah, exactly.
clean
exactly.
cut. Not
Yeah,
a greaser.
Is that? Well, I guess we talk about our dads quite a bit. How much alike we are, to them, and how different we are from them. So
Mhm.
I guess I'm wondering. You're like, this is sort of that's what I'm looking at this minute. I'm thinking, is this a nature versus nurture? Like, how much of this is genetic, and how much of it is the nurture?
But that's interesting because that makes it seem like the nurture part was Indy going to school, but if he'd just gotten the nature part, it was just the wildness, even though his dad doesn't display that.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe he
Or
got
is
that
it
from
like-
his mom, though.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, we still don't know anything about his mom.
I wonder if she fought everybody.
Does it count as nurture if it's not nature, but it's you being driven out of your house by your dad who doesn't respect you or see you as a person and stuff? Like, does that count as nurture? Those are the only two options, nature and nurture.
We need Christy.
yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, that Mutt does this cool thing with his knife. He's got a knife in his boot this whole time.
Yeah,
I guess-
well, right before that,
Okay.
Indy has kind of a nice little nod to Mutt after they kick him around and he kind of falls over.
Yeah, but
Indy
is that
gives him kind of a nice nod?
yeah, but is that nod? Okay, now do the thing with the knife, or is it, hey, good job kicking that guy in the face?
Oh, I
with
thought it was good job, but maybe it was through the knife. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Both, I guess.
I've got a question about the knife.
Go
Okay.
for it.
So at 19 seconds, the knife falls behind Indy's back,
Yeah,
and then it makes a sound,
Yeah.
and then there's oh shit.
right.
Now, I can't figure out what happened there.
I have no idea what happened.
I think it's 100% a red herring that bothers me. There's
You
like,
think?
can even
Yeah.
be a red
Well,
herring?
wait,
Like, because
Well,
they
I
make
know
it
what
sound like
happens.
Indy cut himself or he dropped
Yeah.
the knife or
Or
something.
he
and then
stabbed himself or
Yeah.
something, but then there
so
was
it's like, yeah.
But then
so you get a
everything's
little
totally
moment of
fine.
suspense and then it's just, there was nothing.
okay. See, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't see what's going on.
Yeah.
I listened
They
to
don't
it
play
over
it
and over. I'm like, okay.
I actually looked up. I was like, I can't be the only person who wonders about this, and I couldn't find the screenplay, so I just typed in, why does Mutt say "oh shit" when, or in Crystal Skull or whatever? I actually just typed that, and people,
Right.
and there were a lot. I got nothing but people asking why he did that because nobody
Yeah.
gets it.
Wait a minute.
No
I
kidding.
get it. I get it.
No.
I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Moving on. No,
No, he does because it opens up and it clearly opens up against his pants and his pants are ripped.
when? Where? Do you
I mean
see
that
that?
well
You
when
don't s-
I don't think you see it, but what happens is he does it. They do this great move. It's really clever. It's cool. And it goes back and then you hear it go
Yeah,
and you're like,
Yeah,
those
but
are his
then-
trousers ripping.
but that doesn't go any. If his pants ripped, they would have shown that.
Yeah. I think Mutt
wouldn't
thought he
think-
cut his hand off or like cut his
Yeah,
finger.
like he
or
should be
something,
bleeding
or-
to death or something.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of those things where
or
Pete
drop
Mummer
the knife
comes.
or something.
Pete Mummer says, "Well, we have a deleted scene here."
Right, yeah. There was a bag of very expensive coffee behind Indy that he accidentally ripped open, and the beans went everywhere.
No, I really thought the gag was Indy split his it ripped open his pants, but I agree with you. It doesn't really make sense.
I mean,
He
that would have been
doesn't
a
know-
fantastic gag, and I would still be
Right.
laughing at that because it's so funny. But
Then his pants would have fallen down, and you would have seen his
Right.
bottom.
he would have had like polka dot boxer shorts.
Dad, you're embarrassing me. Put your pants back on.
It is.
cut your
The
trousers.
scene is great, but that was the only thing I could make of it.
Yeah,
It is
but
weird. Like
there's
yeah.
nothing stated, so it's like,
right.
did I miss something, or
That's
was
very
there something
strange.
before? I didn't see anything before.
And I don't see anything in the script. I think it was just a little moment of, oh, we're going to try to build some suspense, and then
What? What?
I thought
what-
it could have been. I thought it could have been like Indy makes a face, and Mutt goes, "Oh no," and then Indy's like, "I gotcha." Like he's gonna be like, "Nope, I got it." Like, but there's no like
There's
reaction
nothing
to that.
there.
or-
Yeah,
there's
Yeah,
nothing-
he
he's
doesn't,
not
yeah.
mucking to Mutt or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait,
It's
Like,
super
he's
what?
weird.
gonna come up and his wrist is slit open, and
Yeah.
you
This
know,
is I guess we are gonna die.
he just
Yeah.
goes on to the next scene.
I love you, son.
What, what if Mutt? Maybe Mutt is a Johnny. A Johnny sees what he says what he sees.
or
And
says
you're
what
like-
he hears. He's a Johnny says what he hears.
He
Yeah.
says what he hears, but maybe he sees something. Maybe he just says what he saw.
What? He just did it through
Whoa.
his pants?
The sh-
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Wow.
but they don't show
Maybe.
it. Like you hear it. Maybe that's not his pants at all. Maybe he sits on it and it goes. and that's what Mutt is just he's just says what he sees.
he tore up his colostomy bag, right?
Oh.
Sorry, that's,
I feel like it's better than where
much.
Jerry was going with this. So it's okay, Joe.
Well, he is getting older.
yeah, right.
Hey, I have an actual question, an actual legit question. And well, okay, I'll just ask it. Is this the second S-bomb we've had in the entire series?
Ooh.
We had
I
Indiana
feel like it was
Jones
the
on
third,
the
but maybe it was
on
only the
I want to say third too, but I can't remember what the other one is. We had Indy on Katanga's ship, and he sees the Nazis coming. He says, "Oh bleep," and then
Does he say it in Last Crusade ever?
I think he does.
people write in because we're
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Who does Henry hit on the head with a vase? And also, who else says bad words in these movies?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Well, I real quick, I wanted to go back. I kind of split the difference between both Tom and Pete on the Indy's nod. Like, I don't think Indy knows that Mutt has a switchblade in his boot. I think they dispatch of Devchenko, and then Indy's kind of like, now go do the thing, do something.
Oh, okay.
Like,
But
he
if he
just
doesn't know about the
pushes him-
knife, what would the thing be?
I don't know. I think it's just kind of a weird thing. He's just like, I'm the old guy here, and you're the guy who's got action now. So go do the
Right.
thing. Like, now's time for you to do a move.
I kind of
kinda-
like. Oh,
It
go
kind
ahead.
of looked like he knew he had the knife the way he nodded.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did, I guess.
And I like that idea. I like the idea that Indy be like, Mutt's got a knife. He's probably got it in his boot. Like, yeah, they took a knife from him. Probably the Russians did at the camp. But you know what?
He's got like 8
Everybody's got a
more.
backup.
Yeah.
Right.
It's my kid. Always be prepared. good
Talking
scout.
about Jerry, you just said do the move. I have to say, right before we started recording, Jerry watched the minute, and I could just hear the audio, and it sounds exactly like a video game, like this minute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It really does. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you just hear the not yet, and then you just hear.
Yeah. Then
No,
Devchenko
I-
sort of
Okay, he
flickers
just-
after he falls down.
Yeah,
and
he
turns
just
into
did like a
roast
left
chicken.
right combo, and then he did a like left up button
Yeah.
right.
Now, let me ask this question: do you think that Spielberg has a copyright or trademark on these hits? Because
Oh yeah.
they take me right back to the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
not
we've-
like anybody else that I can think of.
I feel like, there must be like a Lucasfilm just drawer somewhere with little cards that say like punch 1, punch 2,
Right.
punch 3, and they just
Yeah.
use those over. and
Well,
over
I
and
mean, the
over again.
magic of the punches from Raiders is they actually added a gunshot in them. So I'm curious if they did it.
Oh,
in this.
that's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, Ben Burt had a gunshot mixed in.
that's amazing.
Interesting.
It really
Because they're
is.
very unlike on the other that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pack a wallop.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. They do.
There's a lot of untying of people in this minute. Kicking people and untying people. And that's mostly it.
I kind of thought Indy was going to leave the gag on Marion again. I thought it was going to be a callback.
That would have been pretty fun.
That would be good.
He just gives some his little monologue that he gives here almost. He's got this. Okay, Jerry Porter. I need to ask for you. I tend to be your bellwether for these things, but I'm a little on the fence. How do you feel? I'll just cut to the end of Indy's little thing. How do you feel about the word honey?
Honey. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Because my question is right here. Here's my note. Tom, can I get a ruling?
Oh, see? Look at that. Now
I
we're
think
lost. We can't get a ruling from each other.
we can't get a ruling from. We got to go to like Peter Joe.
Oh no.
Okay. I know logically, like he's what is it? It's what is it, 1957? So we're still in the like dames and
Right.
gams and chicks and
I just
honey
looked it up. Honey has been in use as a term of endearment from at least the 14th century.
Oh, I believe that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I would too.
Because it's sweet.
Oh.
But sugar has only been a term of endearment as recently as the 1930s.
Oh, wow. Really?
Do you ever call anybody sugar?
No, my grandma
Yeah.
used to call me sugar.
Mm.
Like she'd call
I might
all of
use
us
honey.
kids sugar.
I was
Huh.
called sugar at the roller rink.
That was your team name.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the DJ's lap, and he said, "Hey, sugar."
What do you want me to spin next?
Where do I put the needle again? Sorry.
I hope Tom added a record scratch right there.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I did. That poor kid.
No, I don't like when Indy throws at it, because I think the line he said, because none of them were you, and you go, that's
Yeah.
a fine line. I don't
Bam.
need anything more. I don't need a honey. I don't need a dear. I don't need any term of endearment. I don't
Yeah.
really like when Indy uses the terms of endearment. He has a few other times, and they always seem like they're superfluous.
Even though, like I remember in Temple of Doom, he tossed around things like doll and stuff with Willie,
Yeah.
and that rubbed us the wrong way. It's like, go easy.
You just don't need it. It's not needed.
Yeah. Speaking of not needed, there's this line is pretty good, but I think it's executed badly, because it's like there must have been he's untying Mary, and she's like, oh, there must have been other women for you too, or whatever. And he's like, there were a few, but they all had the same problem. And she says, what was that? And she said, and he goes, they weren't you, honey. And but there's like a minute and a half pause between they had the same, what he's going to say from a mile away before he says the first part or before she asks. And it's like way too, and then you add on the honey. It's like way too kind of forced. And like, here's Indy's romantic hero moment where he looks Marion in the eye and says, they weren't you, honey. And it's like, you know what? We don't make movies like that anymore. That's not, that doesn't work.
Because we shouldn't, or because
No, I mean, it's just it's from it's not Indiana Jones. I think I can see him saying this entire line without even looking at Marion. Like he's climbing out of the thing, and he's like, they weren't you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And he'd say, like, or maybe he'd be like, yeah, because they weren't you. He just kind of almost spit it out, almost with like just a smidge of Clint Eastwood. Just a smidge,
right, yeah.
Just like 15%. And maybe he says it while he throws the switchblade back.
Right, or he's got the knife in his teeth or something, and he's climbing out of the thing. They weren't you. It's just like
yeah, exactly.
He means it from the heart, and it's totally sincere, but he's not like stopping the movie to say it.
Yeah, but he's busy.
Right, and then Marion could still have the exact same reaction to it. She's like beaming as he climbs out the thing, and she's all touched and giddy.
I mean, so she's this whole point is like, well, you sure know how to show a lady a good time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I hear this line, I can't help but think of that if you watch the original British Office, there's
Mhm.
the episode where David Brent writes the song, the cowboy song, and he looks at the picture and the guy says, "Why the tears?" And he says, "Because none of them was you." And then the trainer's like, "Sounds a bit gay," and David Brent's super upset.
That's a good show.
I wonder if they were referencing that, because that was well before this movie.
Man,
True.
that could be.
That's right.
It is. I mean, Marion's reaction here, she's like 100% into him now all of a sudden because he said that. I guess
Yeah,
honey
she's just
worked. I guess
beaming.
he should have said honey.
Yeah, that was a
But is-
big smile. I noticed.
But is that
as
like?
well.
I mean, okay, I got two different things going on here, but I'm going to say I don't remember what happens the next 20 or 30 minutes of this movie. But is she totally on board now with Indiana Jones? They've had their argument and he called her honey, and now she's like, oh my gosh, there's my man climbing on
Pretty
top of the
much.
truck.
And the script
Yeah.
says, "Well, that just melts her."
Yeah, that's what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and she's
Yeah.
just beaming from that point on.
She
Well, so,
really is.
So, Pete, let me ask you: was this whole Marion argument a ruse?
Or a ruse.
Yeah, or a ruse?
Which one?
Was it a ruse or a ruse?
How so?
No, is it like, okay, so they're fighting and they're arguing, but the whole point is they distract Devchenko and then they kick him.
Oh,
Where'd you
no,
So
I
did
don't
that-
think it
so
was,
was-
because she's still arguing with him afterwards, kind of. Like
Yeah.
she's still like, "Yeah, what was that?" Like after she
Right.
asked.
Did you?
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so what was Marion's? I can't remember Marion's line to which Indy responds, "Not yet."
He says, why are you finally telling me now about Mutt if I wasn't supposed to be in his life and stuff? And she said, because I thought we were about to die.
Oh, and he says, "Not yet." And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was really funny. The whole time he says it, I'm imagining he's saying very, very slowly, "Niet."
That's what I was thinking too. Nyat, nyat.
Yeah, like it could have been either. Like he's just telling Devchenko no.
Maybe he's saying, "In this country, we say no, not
Right.
yet."
Right. But we should point out, Joe, I just discovered this right before we started recording. You saw this movie for the first time when?
Last night.
Hey!
Oh, whoa! Hell. Is that true? We didn't watch this at your bachelor party.
They kicked you out of
That
the
would've been
strip
the
club
hit.
at 7-Eleven. Then you had to go home and watch Crystal Skull.
Come on, we're gonna get Fritos chili cheese flavor.
Yeah, you know, this
occasion.
came out when I was back in Hollywood, and I think the mix of who was in it at the time threw me off. I wasn't sure that I was up for it at that time.
Oh, okay.
And then seeing it, I'm like, okay.
So what you watched it for the first time last night. What were your thoughts?
A little bit Hollywood, and I want to say, did Spielberg write it? He directed it, right?
He did.
For some of the things, you know, it's a little bit like the Wonder Woman of recent has got these bits of cheese in it that seem unnecessary. I felt there were some of those in there. And I have to say, I'm pretty chill with movies in general. I don't pick them apart. But when things stick out to me,
Yeah,
Take note.
you were the ballast for our cynicism.
That's right. I think we said this before on some other show, but I remember you were driving around and you were furious at me for not liking the movie Twister. Like, it's a tornado, and it's like a cat flying through the air. What's the matter? What do you want from a movie?
tornadoes and flying cows. That's
Come
it.
on, man.
Yeah.
What
Dude,
did you get?
you were upset because we did not like House 2.
House 2?
House 2.
I don't know if I saw House 2. Are you sure it was
Oh,
House 2?
come on. Yeah, House 2. What, it come out in 1985? 1986?
Maybe.
House. There was House. It had like a zombie hand on a doorbell.
Yeah. it was
Right, I
William
remember
Cat.
the picture of the guy
Yeah.
from Cheers, right?
Yeah, one of the guys. It was Norm was in it, and
Yeah.
William Cat from Greatest American Hero, and a bunch of other people.
Sounds like a
And
hit.
some ghosts.
Wow.
That's a good movie. I like that first one.
If I saw it, then that might have been the last time I saw it. 'Cause I don't remember. But I mean, you see enough movies, you can't see them all more than once.
That's right. There's a line to be drawn.
Unless they're Close Encounters.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Oh,
That's a
hey,
movie.
there you go. That's a good one.
It's an adventure story.
It is.
So yes, overall the movie was pretty decent, and I thought it was interesting.
This one or House?
No, this one.
Or House, too.
Okay.
Yeah. Bringing in the alien, I wouldn't have imagined that. I thought it was the typical crystal skull of, the human skull that people have talked about.
Yeah.
So I really
Did that
had
work
no
for
idea.
you? Was it jarring for you to have aliens in a Indiana Jones movie, or did that work for you?
No, it was a little bit jarring.
Okay.
It seemed like a mesh of two different movies almost.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's some of that.
Yeah. You are many things, but one of those things you are is an artist and a photographer. And how would you describe the lighting in this movie? Like, how would you, like, when you look at how the movie is filmed and the choices that they make, did it leave a imprint on your mind?
I think Spielberg's movies are always well lit, well shot. Cinematography is always a great thing in his movies, and I thought they were in this one as well.
We've been kind of trying to figure out the light, like the light. Even when they're outdoors, it kind of looks like they're indoors, but supposed to look outdoors. Like even here, we have the golden hour again.
Yes, I do remember there was a scene. Somebody was supposed to be outside, and I thought to myself, that could easily be a set with a background that was like a gray cloud.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was the tents or something like that. But I specifically thought about that. I'm like, that looks like it could just be a studio versus an actual place.
Yeah.
Did we ever nail that down? Did we ever find out if those shots were outside and they just look crazy, or if it was just all faked, or what?
I thought the answer surprised us. Like but I don't remember what the answer was.
This is what happens when we take a 2-year hiatus and then go once a week. Start to forget stuff.
Well, I just forget stuff now anyway. So
there you go. No excuse.
I bet it was studio. That's what I was thinking.
It sort of feels like it. Yeah.
It's
although they did film a lot of this outside. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think they did, but like that particular scene, and
I
you
feel like
guys
I'm getting
noticed something like that as well. That it's probably a studio.
And I feel like I'm getting this mixed up with Phantom Menace, where it looked like almost the whole movie was made in a studio, and a lot of the scenes were like practical effects, and outside they just looked weird.
Oh yeah,
right. That could be too. But they get that strange shallow depth of field.
Yeah,
it makes everything look a little too toyish.
Yeah,
it's stylized. It's beautiful. Like the lighting is beautiful, like as you said, Joe. But it's so stylized as to, it lacks a reality to it.
Yeah, it's weirdly clean. It's not like
Yeah.
earthy at all. Like you expect
yeah,
your
'cause
Indiana
Raiders
Jones to
is
be like kind of
stylized,
grubby.
but
Yeah,
different. It's differently stylized.
it's stylized to look like, there might be some sand in the camera or something.
Right,
Like
right.
there's a roughness to it. And
This looks
a
digital. Like
graininess.
it all looks very digital. Like it looks like
Yeah.
the digital age of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, think
Right.
about the truck chase scene in Cairo and just how dirty it is. There's water
Yeah, right.
everywhere.
How
There's
gritty.
like little
Yeah.
blood droplets. There's
Mhm.
sand everywhere. Everything's grubby.
Yeah.
Just he gets on the horse and like dust flies up like it's pig pen. This lacks that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me
true.
think a little bit that this is, Steven Spielberg's second in command is behind the wheel, and Steven's got to get the kids to the beach. I need an Indiana Jones movie made, and
Yeah.
you're going to do it.
Well, that's
Putting
this
my name
weekend
on
that
it.
we're making that Indiana Jones movie. Oh man,
Right.
I totally forgot. It's my kid's birthday party.
That's
We'll get it in.
hilarious.
We'll get it in. It's
Joe-
sort of, I mean, you see interviews.
Kids need
with
to
him,
go
it's
to
sort of-
college.
right? Yeah. How
Yeah.
much? Okay, cool, awesome. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does sort of seem like when you see the interviews with him, and so he's like, "Oh, okay, all right, yes, okay, fine. Another Indiana Jones movie. Let's go. This will be great. Okay, aliens. Okay, 10
Right.
4. Let's do it.
Let's
Okay.
let's put it all together. We got Close Encounters and an Indiana Jones movie. Not a
Right.
problem.
I'd watch
Throw in a
that.
little bit of ET and
Yeah.
Well, Joe, you know spent a lot of time out here in Los Angeles. Did you see any of the people in this movie?
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I
you,
did.
you had a
that's partly
professional-
why. Yeah.
right.
Are we allowed to say what Joe used to do for a living?
Oh, shh. He's a professional bachelor party goer.
I set up the best bachelor parties ever.
He's a bachelor party ringer.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say?
No, of
Are we allowed
course.
to say?
Say yeah. Tell
Yeah,
us
you
what
can say
yeah.
whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was out in LA, I chased celebrities around as a paparazzi. So yes, I did see both the main characters in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Were they friendly? Were they circumspect?
Let's see, Harrison Ford was pretty, stoic. Doesn't
Yeah.
say much
Yeah.
to you.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Shia LaBeouf, I think he was going through some stuff. So, he had stuff going on. He was never
Yeah.
rude or anything. And it was before all the really crazy stuff.
Yeah.
When you go nuts in the airport or
Yeah.
pee
I've
in a
lost
corner or
track.
something. I can't remember who did what, but they've all had their ups and downs, and he was going down at that point for a little bit.
But neither of them beat you up or anything?
No,
You just snapped your
I
pictures and were on
tried
your
to be
way?
respectful to
Oh, there you go.
everybody, and
Dude, you had
Not
that
get beat up.
fantastic story. I remember you telling me, like, you would get a call from, was it Justin Timberlake's management, and they'd be like, "Hey, Justin Timberlake's going to be leaving the Ivy in like 15 minutes." Like you would get calls from the actual management, so
Wow.
the paparazzi would go take pictures. Like if someone had a movie coming out, or had an album coming out, or had something coming, it was kind of like people think the paparazzi are used like for one reason. It's like no, the actual celebrities, some of them at least, some
Yeah.
of them use the paparazzi to their own benefit.
Mhm.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you got a new project coming out, you want nothing but publicity.
And you would get calls from from within inside the house. You get calls like from their team.
Sometimes. Now, I had an instance in Miami when Jennifer Lopez was down there, and they were telling me that their people knew I was coming in with a camera into a club. I'm like, I don't know, and I'm going in there and I'm saying, yeah, I'm supposed to meet up with Jennifer.
She's expecting you.
Yeah, that didn't happen, and I'm not sure if they were just
Oh my
making it
God.
up to get the picture or what the deal was, but
Oh, wow.
Well,
but there are some legitimate times that you're working with them to promote whatever they got
Huh.
coming out.
well, there's
Yeah.
this kind of trope that happens in movies and stuff, but like if you were to say Jerry Porter walks out of his door one morning and you showed up with your camera and like you had 5 of your paparazzi brothers show up with their buddies with cameras show up and you all took pictures like Jerry was super famous and important, which I mean we know
Right.
he is in real life, so this is not a good example.
Yeah,
But
just slightly more than he is right
like
now.
would it cause a stir? Would like everyone on the street stop and be like, who is that guy? Oh man, I think I
Yes.
recognize that guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and typically if it's the bigger the star, the crazier the response. You tell them it's Kevin's cousin from this movie that nobody ever knows about. You don't tell them that, oh, it's
Oh,
Brad
okay.
Pitt, so that they go and call all their friends over.
Oh, okay.
So you kind of play with people and
Well, you're trying to. I mean, part of it is you're scooping a story.
right.
Yeah.
The
so
less
you're-
people there, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more exclusive, the better.
Yeah.
But you did. It sounds like you've cemented the fact that Tom Hanks was like one of the nicest people there is.
Did I say that?
Well, I think you told me before. I remember he said he was a
Yeah.
nice guy. He kind of was. He was pretty cordial, cool about things.
Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks.
I'm sure.
God. Wait a
You,
minute.
yeah, you. Okay, so Tom Hanks, we had a run-in.
Run in.
Knives were drawn.
He drove by as we were working his stories. So there were three of us in a car, and we decided to go check out where he was going. Turns in he goes into this little campus area, and we're sitting in line in cars, and everybody's getting out into this building. We're like, oh, this is the kids' school. So we're like, okay,
geez.
we're not gonna mess around with that. So we were trying to get out of the parking lot. We passed him and we were heading out, but still in a line.
Hmm.
He came up and he was so pissed.
Oh my God.
So scary. And I think it was
Wow.
just after Road to Perdition. Was that what he was in? Had just
He was
come
still in
out and he
character.
was like, I'm like, he was so enraged. I'm like, oh my God, this is Tom Hanks, big and
God.
screaming in our faces.
I mean, like, I'm like,
Oh
all
my-
these shots of him freaking out on you.
No, we were all very like, oh my God.
Yes,
I mean,
sir,
he's
I'm
pounding
sorry.
on the window. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Oh, that sucks. And you decided to be cool. And he
Yeah,
was furious
yeah.
at you anyway.
He probably thought we were going to park up and run into
Yeah.
school or something, but yeah.
Oh my
so
God.
we were trying to be nice, and we didn't get any pictures that day.
Yeah.
And actually, he came over later, and Steve, my partner, actually talked to him, and they kind of ironed it out. And
Oh, okay.
it was a
That's
total
good.
misunderstanding, and we weren't,
Aw.
trying to invade the kids' private time there. So,
Even the scary Tom Hanks stories end nicely. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking
the-
of misunderstandings, I'm appreciating that everything that Jerry has ascribed to you in this episode has been completely false.
Yeah, no, really. That was a weird setup for that story.
But he was like
Liz's favorite movie is House 2. All he does is talk about how great Tom Hanks is.
Maybe he doesn't know.
you guys
He doesn't
met?
know who I am.
Yeah, really.
I'm the guy from camp.
Oh, Joe Spaley. Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay.
not the Spally.
That son of a bitch.
So I'm sure Tom Hanks is a lovely person.
Sure.
I'll leave it with that.
Of course he is.
Sure.
Stop it.
Who
Just don't
is
mess with his kids.
who is a lovely person?
Gosh. I'm thinking back here now.
There's none of them.
Before the headache, Britney Spears was pretty decent. Of course, she put up with a lot of crap. So,
Yeah.
but she was, for the most part, always decent and cordial
Okay.
and smiled. Yeah.
Did anybody
That's
like
cool.
bring out cookies for you or like lemonade or
You boys look hungry.
yeah?
No.
I didn't throw out any food, so you can't find anything in my trash. Yeah.
Not sure you want to drink or eat anything that somebody brings out to you as they're screaming in your face. Or, leave them alone. All right. Got a job to do here.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a job to do here,
Oh, yeah.
this just in from Professor Christy Porter. When Indy rips the top of the truck open and there's that aperture, and he peers down at Marion, it calls to mind the Well of Souls.
It does.
It
Wait a minute, I'll go
does.
Look.
It's like a
Going to the
miniature Well of
videotape.
Souls.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, kind of like
a
he's
tiny,
about
tiny little Belloc could peer his head
Yes,
over.
yes.
Who knows? In 1,000 years, maybe. Yeah.
It
A
sort of
tiny
reminds me of
little-
the truck chase and Raiders, but I'm
Yeah.
not getting the Well of the Souls part as much.
Well, like he could, like jump on a tiny little Anubis and go pew.
That would be very darling. That'd just be
Yeah.
charming and
Yeah.
cute. All right. Well, listen, what you just heard was us discussing both Minute 57 and Tom Hanks' Blind Rage. And that could only be done with our friend Joe Spaley. So thank you, Joe, for joining us. That was beautiful.
Well, thanks for having me,
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And who knows? Maybe we'll be back again someday. We'll see.
We may have several cease and desist letters from Mr. Hanks' lawyers.
Yeah.
Turns out Britney Spears hates you too. gonna find out,
Probably. Probably. We're going to have to get in line.
Right. You want a piece of Joe? You got to wait your turn. Take a number. But everyone, while you're sitting in the lobby waiting for your piece of Joe Spaley, please come back here next week for minute 76 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, right here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Not yet. Yet. Yet.
You're having fun.
I am. Been a tough day.